You turn off the lights. The room is quiet, but your mind refuses to rest. Thoughts rush in. Unfinished tasks, mistakes from earlier today, worries about tomorrow. The body is tired, but the mind is wide awake. This is the nightly struggle for so many of us. We long for sleep, yet we lie awake, trapped inside our thoughts. The more we fight them, the louder they seem to grow. Overthinking becomes the barrier between us and peace. Now imagine someone who carried the weight of an entire empire. A man who faced wars, political turmoil, and the constant threat of death. If anyone had a reason to lose sleep, it was Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor of Rome. And yet he discovered a way to let go before sleep. He wrote in his private journal, later known as Meditations. Not for an audience, not to impress, but to remind himself how to release the burdens of the day. Each page was a conversation with his own restless mind, a way to quiet the storm before surrendering to rest. Tonight, we turn to him. What can Marcus Aurelius teach us about the art of letting go? How can his ancient wisdom guide us when our thoughts refuse to stop? This is not about escaping reality or pretending our problems don't exist. It is about meeting them with clarity, then setting them down for the night. Because peace before sleep does not come from solving everything. It comes from letting go. And in this reflection, we will walk with Marcus Aurelius. We will learn from his struggles, his writings, and his practice of release. We will see how his wisdom can reach across 2,000 years to meet us here, in the silence of our own bedrooms. If you have ever felt trapped by your thoughts before sleep, you are not alone. Marcus was there. We are there. And perhaps tonight we can learn, together, how to let go. Marcus Aurelius is often remembered as the philosopher-king, the Stoic emperor who ruled with wisdom and restraint. But to understand his nightly practice of letting go, we need to step into his world. A world filled with turbulence, loss, and relentless responsibility. Only then can we see why his meditations before sleep carried such weight. Imagine the empire in his time. The Antonine Plague, a deadly epidemic, swept across Rome. It killed soldiers, farmers, children. Entire towns fell silent. As emperor, Marcus had to make decisions about quarantines, about grain supply, about the morale of his people, while knowing he himself was not immune. In his own notes, he reminded himself, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death is on your heels. While you live, while you can, be good." These words were not abstractions. They were survival. At the same time, the northern front was on fire. The Germanic tribes were pressing against Rome's borders, demanding attention Marcus could scarcely afford to give. He often camped with his soldiers, enduring cold nights, uncertainty, and the weight of command. Picture him, not in the marble halls of Rome, but in a tent near the Danube, surrounded by weary men, listening to the distant sounds of battle. And yet, in that fragile light, he would write in his journal, not speeches for the Senate, not decrees for the people, but reminders to himself. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. His private life was no less heavy. Marcus outlived several of his own children. Few experiences cut deeper than bearing a son or daughter. For a father, emperor or not, the pain is universal. And yet, when grief came, Marcus returned to the same practice, reflecting, accepting, letting go, not to erase the loss, but to keep living with clarity. He wrote, "Do not say more to yourself than the first impressions report. You have been told that someone has died. That is the bare fact, not that it is terrible. That part is your judgment." Here we see the discipline of a man who sought to release what was beyond his control, even when it touched his heart. In these moments, we see why Stoicism was not for Marcus a hobby or a luxury. It was his lifeline. Each night when he picked up the stylus, he was not trying to create literature. He was not writing for us. He was trying to steady his own mind, to put down what he could not carry into sleep. The world around him demanded constant control. Armies had to be led. Cities had to be rebuilt. Families had to be comforted. And yet Marcus discovered that no human being can carry everything. The mind must learn to release. The act of writing became his ritual of release. Line by line, he untangled his thoughts, reminding himself of what he could control and what he could not. This was not weakness, it was survival. For a modern listener, this may sound distant. After all, few of us command armies or face plagues as emperors. And yet the human experience is the same. We too end our days with burdens, the unresolved email, the argument with a friend, the silent weight of worry about tomorrow. Like Marcus, we lie awake, caught between exhaustion and the inability to let go. His example speaks directly to this modern condition. So when we say Marcus Aurelius and the art of letting go before sleep, we are not invoking a distant figure in marble. We are recalling a man who faced pressure greater than most of us could imagine, and who still found it necessary to pause, reflect, and release. His words are not lofty philosophy carved for monuments. They are tools, tested in fire, written for survival. Tonight, when you lie down, remember this image. An emperor in a cold tent, candle flickering, writing quietly to himself. He too carried doubts. He too feared loss. And yet he let go line by line until his mind was light enough to rest. Letting go sounds simple, but in practice it is one of the hardest disciplines of the mind. Marcus Aurelius knew this. He struggled with it every night. And that is why he developed his own quiet method, a practice of separation, reflection, and acceptance. Let us walk through this practice slowly, as if we were sitting with him in that tent watching the candle burn low. Step 1, separation. The first task is to separate the fact from the story we tell ourselves about it. Marcus would begin by noting the bare reality. "You have been told that someone has spoken ill of you," he wrote. "That is the report, not that it harmed you." He stripped events down to their core, refusing to add judgment too quickly. This is where most of us stumble. We blur what happened with how we feel about it. An email unanswered becomes rejection. A frown from a colleague becomes hostility. Marcus trained himself to pause. He practiced naming the event without the layers of fear or anger that usually follow. For us, this step can look like journaling, just as he did. Before sleep, write a sentence that states the bare fact. "The meeting ran late. My friend canceled our dinner. I did not finish the project." Leave it there. Notice how the mind wants to add color, to dramatize. The discipline of separation is to resist that impulse. Step 2. Reflection. Once the facts are clear, Marcus would reflect on their weight. Are they within my control, or are they beyond it? This was the central Stoic filter. He reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This reflection cuts through illusion. If the event is outside my control, then holding it is useless. If it is inside my control, then I can act tomorrow, not tonight. Either way, the burden does not belong in my bed. In modern life, this might mean asking simple questions. Can I change this tonight? If yes, then make a plan for tomorrow and release it. If no, then it must be set aside. The act of reflection clears the fog, turning the overwhelming into the manageable. Step 3. Acceptance. Finally, Marcus would accept what remained. This was not passive resignation. It was active alignment with reality. He wrote, "Love only what happens to you and what is spun for you by nature. For what could more surely fit your needs?" Acceptance meant he could sleep without fighting the world. He had done his part. The rest was fate, and fate would unfold with or without his worry. For us, acceptance can feel like a soft exhale. It is the reminder that rest is not negligence. It is participation in the rhythm of life. By sleeping, we renew ourselves to act with strength tomorrow. Now, to deepen this practice, let us see how it might play out in real examples. A parent worries about their teenager out late at night. Separation. The fact is, my child is not home yet. Reflection. I have taught them well. I cannot control every choice tonight. Acceptance. Tomorrow we will talk, but tonight I will rest so I have the clarity to guide them. A worker lies awake replaying a mistake in a presentation. Separation. I misspoke on one slide. Reflection. I cannot change the past. Tomorrow I can send a clarification. Acceptance. Tonight I will rest so I speak with calm in the morning. A friend feels hurt by silence from someone they care about. Separation. They have not replied to my message. Reflection. I do not control their response. I can reach out again later. Acceptance. The friendship will unfold as it will. Tonight I release the weight of wondering. Through these examples, we see that Marcus's method is not bound to emperors or armies. It is human. It is practical. It is timeless. And here lies the art of letting go before sleep. It is not about forcing peace. It is about building a small ritual where peace can enter naturally, a notebook by the bed, a few moments of still breathing. 3 questions: what happened? Can I control it? Can I accept it? The beauty of this practice is its simplicity. It requires no special tools, no elaborate preparation, only honesty, patience, and the willingness to return again and again. Marcus did not master it once and for all. He practiced it every night, as we must. In this way, Stoic philosophy is not distant doctrine. It is lived wisdom. It is a method for clearing the mind when the day feels too heavy. And for Marcus, this method meant survival in a world of constant crisis. For us, it means freedom in a world of constant noise. So when you prepare for sleep tonight, try it. Write 1 sentence of fact, reflect on its weight, accept what remains, then close the notebook and let your mind follow into rest. This is how Marcus Aurelius let go. This is how we can too. Marcus Aurelius did not have smartphones, email, or social media, but he had the same restless mind we struggle with today. His world was filled with battles, politics, and uncertainty. Ours is filled with information, deadlines, and constant noise. The forms have changed, but the challenge is the same. How do we let go before sleep? To practice what Marcus practiced, we do not need an empire. We need only a quiet moment, a willingness to pause, and the courage to face our own thoughts. Let us walk through how his nightly ritual can become ours. The first step is separation. Before sleep, take a sheet of paper or a journal. Write down the things on your mind. Do not filter them. Do not polish them. Simply let them spill onto the page. Then look at each one and ask, is this within my control or beyond it? Circle what belongs to you, your actions, your words, your choices. Cross out what does not. This is your line in the sand. What is not yours does not deserve your night. The second step is reflection. Ask yourself, how did I live today? Not in terms of success or failure, but in terms of character. Did I treat others with fairness? Did I speak truthfully? Did I show discipline even in small things? If yes, allow that to bring peace. If no, remind yourself tomorrow is another chance. Reflection is not punishment. It is guidance. It is how Marcus trained his mind one evening at a time. The third step is acceptance. Close your eyes and repeat what Marcus often reminded himself. Whatever happens is woven into the fabric of the universe. This is not resignation. It is alignment. It is the choice to stop fighting the tide and rest upon it. Acceptance does not solve tomorrow's problems, but it gives us strength to meet them with clarity when morning comes. This ritual can take 5 minutes or 50. The length does not matter. What matters is sincerity. To separate, to reflect, to accept. These are not abstract Stoic concepts. They are living tools. They are as useful in a quiet bedroom tonight as they were in a Roman camp 2,000 years ago. Consider how different tomorrow feels when tonight is spent in release instead of rumination. Sleep becomes deeper, waking becomes lighter. The mind begins the day with space instead of clutter. This is the art of letting go, not to ignore life, but to carry it more wisely. Marcus Aurelius did not seek perfection in this practice. Neither should we. Some nights thoughts will still return. Some nights rest will still be hard. But even then, the practice itself is valuable, because each attempt reminds us we are not powerless. We can shape how we meet our thoughts. So tonight, as you turn off the lights, remember the emperor with a candle and a notebook. Remember how he faced the same restless currents. And remember that his wisdom belongs not only to history, but to us. The art of letting go before sleep is not ancient. It is eternal. And it is waiting for you. The night is a teacher. It strips away the noise of the day and leaves us face to face with our thoughts. Sometimes that silence feels heavy. Sometimes it feels like freedom. Marcus Aurelius understood both. He knew the battle of the mind does not end with sunset. And yet, he also knew that peace is possible if we learn to let go. As we reflect on his wisdom, let us remember, Marcus was not superhuman. He was not free from grief, anger, or fear. He was a man who carried enormous responsibility and who still struggled in private. His greatness lay not in avoiding struggle, but in returning to philosophy when struggle came. He kept practicing. He kept reminding himself of what mattered. He kept choosing clarity over confusion. That is why his words endure, not because they promise a life without hardship, but because they show us how to live with hardship and still find rest. When Marcus wrote before sleep, he was not trying to impress us. He was trying to survive his own mind, and in that honesty we find companionship across centuries. Now think of your own nights. The unfinished tasks, the anxious thoughts, the constant pull of what if. These are your empire. And like Marcus, you have a choice. You can carry them into bed or you can set them down. You can choose the discipline of letting go, and in that choice you give yourself the gift of rest. Letting go does not mean indifference. It does not mean giving up. It means trusting that you have done enough for today. It means believing tomorrow will bring another chance to act, to grow, to love. It means accepting that rest itself is an act of strength. So tonight, when you lie down, breathe deeply. Remember Marcus in his tent writing by candlelight. Remember that peace comes not from control but from release, and let his example guide you into sleep steady and calm. If this reflection has spoken to you, I invite you to walk further with us. This channel, Still Within, is a space for those who seek clarity, calm, and the quiet strength of Stoic wisdom. Here we learn not only from Marcus but from Seneca, Epictetus, and the long tradition of voices that teach us how to master the inner life. Subscribing is more than a click. It is a way of joining a community that values depth over distraction, simplicity over noise. Each video is crafted to help you return to yourself, to what is essential, to what cannot be taken away. So, if you wish to carry this journey forward, I invite you to subscribe, to share, and to keep reflecting with us. Your presence strengthens this circle. Your reflections bring life to these teachings. Together, we can keep learning the art of living with calm in a restless world. As Marcus once reminded himself, do not be carried away by imagination. Do not let the future trouble you. Return to the present and let reason guide you. May his words guide you tonight, and may you rest in peace. This is the art of letting go before sleep. Thank you for being here.